like, subscribe, and leave a comment. So here's your review of WWE Raw week commencing the 25th of September. We're only reviewing Raw today, and we do SmackDown another day. So Cody Rhodes comes out. He finally gets to talk about what's going on with him and Jay. Before he says that, he says obviously because Jay is now on Raw, someone has to go to SmackDown. Not too sure who that is, and a lot of people don't like Jay, as he said, but he felt what happened with Jay last week when he got jumped, he made the right decision to come down and help Jay. Obviously the Judgement Day come down. They come down to call out Cody, telling basically Cody to stay out their business in future. If Jay's getting a beat down, stay out of it. And basically it's when I had a little back and forth. Then they look like they're gonna approach the ring and all jump Cody. Then Jay Uso turned into a brawl. Then Sami Zayn and KO turned up, and so did JD, and it just turned into a brawl. So we will see what happens there. Then we have our first match, which is Otis versus Bronson Reed in a decent match of the two big men. Great match there, but in the end, Bronson Reed gets the win. Then we have Becky Lynch talking to Tegan Knox, I think her name is, basically saying she needs to step up, show some more aggression, and then she'll be next in line for a shot at Becky Lynch. Then we had Ciampa versus Kaiser in a decent match, but Vinci came down to help, and Vinci sort of interfered inadvertently and then cost Kaiser the match, and then Ciampa got the win. Then we had Natalia versus Knox in a decent match, but in the end Tegan Knox got the victory, so congratulations to her. Then we had Damian Priest basically having a go at JD because he cost basically Priest a beat down in his interference in what happened earlier in the show, so we'll see. Then Seth freaking Rollins comes out. He basically says he's giving Shinsuke Nakamura one last chance to accept his match for the title, then he's moving on. Then Shinsuke basically comes up on the teleprompter on the Titantron, has a little movie, like a little cut screen. Basically he's calling out Seth, and he goes he wants Seth in a last man standing match at Fastlane, so that should be quite interesting. Basically Seth accepts. He says no matter if he's got a broken back, the back keeps him going, his family keeps him going, and he's going to beat down Shinsuke Nakamura, so we'll see what happens. Then we have Ricochet in the back, is on crutches, and he said he has unfinished business with Shinsuke Nakamura, whether he wins the title or not. Then we have an awesome match with Dragon Lee versus Dominic Mysterio for the North American Championship. Awesome match between the two. Dragon Lee is awesome. He's a really good wrestler. But in the end, Dominic wins. Then we have Nia Jax basically pulling up to the building, about to be interviewed. Then we have KO and Sami Zayn basically said they want the Judgment Day. They've been grinding from the bottom to the top, and they want their titles back. Then we have Nia Jax basically coming out saying she's the baddest human being on earth. She squashed everybody, all the women wrestlers, and she's the baddest. And then Zoe Starks comes out and basically calls out Nia, and it turns into a bit of a brawl. So then we go into Zoe versus Nia in a decent match, but in the end, no one ain't beating Nia right now. She's on a roll, so Nia wins. Then we have Jey Uso saying he's not joining any more groups, he's not joining any goths, anybody, he's not joining anybody, he's on his own. And the Judgment Day isn't his type of people anyway. So he's cool with Sami Zayn, but he's got beef with KO, so be it. Then we have Miz TV. The guest on the show is The Miz. Obviously, not The Miz, sorry. That's quite funny. The guest on the show is hosted by The Miz. Then his guest is Drew McIntyre. So basically he wants Drew to explain his actions recently. He's saying his actions are like Miz-worthy. What he's been doing, he's been really cold-blooded. And then the New Day come out. Basically call out Drew, because Drew, they believe what he did when he didn't help Jay when he was getting beaten down was the wrong thing to do. He said usually Drew's someone to look up to and he does the right thing. And then Drew basically just gets hot and he goes, listen, look at everything that Jay's done. He's cost me the titles, cost you lot's title. I don't trust that guy. I don't like that guy. And then basically it just got a bit rocky, a bit testy. And then it goes into Drew and Kofi having a face-off because they're going to have a match also. So then in the back, Kaiser has a little back and forth with their Alpha Academy. We'll see what happens there. Then it goes into Kofi versus Drew in a decent match. But what happened was in the match, Xavier was getting beat down by Ivar, I think it is Ivar, from the Viking Raiders. While that's happening, Kofi was going to help, but instead of helping, Drew pushed Kofi back into the ring and just gave him a Claymore and win the match. And then Drew just basically walked past Kofi while he was getting beat down by the Viking Raiders. So he's definitely turning heel. Then we have Gunther saying to Kaiser and Vinci, they need to sort their issues out. Them not need to be responsible for each other, and he's going to handle Ciampa. Then in the main event of the evening, it was Judgment Day versus Sami Zayn for the Unified Tag Team titles in a really good match. Go and watch if you haven't seen it. Obviously, everyone comes out. JD comes out. Jey Uso comes out. Cody Rhodes comes out. But in the end, JD hit Sami Zayn with a title in his head and cost them the match. And still, your tag team champions, Judgment Day. So that's your review of Raw. Leave a comment.